Is this the start of hope, or is this a start of an even deeper despair? Given how this arc have done, I am predicting despair. But then again, I am the despair reviewer. Hi, yeah, Angry Anime fan. As I said, despair reviewer, bringing you chapter 852 One Piece. And just so you know, we will not have a One Piece next week. We have waited what felt like forever. Well, we are impatient fans after all. And it turns out that vacation was not a break; it was vacation. Therefore, it did not count. I thought that. I have a feeling Oda would go on a break, but I thought he would go on a break after the last released chapter. But it turns out that was only a vacation. It wasn't. It counted as break. So yeah, that's pretty. What's that word mean? But hey, we all can live with it. Either way, in the One Piece chapter of 852, turns out that all the Windsmokes hold strong recovery rates, which makes me even question even further. Are you telling me that Sanji just cannot get that power? Either way, Riju wakes up and Sanji is in the room with her, because turns out he overpowered the chess soldier dude and bounded him, which by the way I like. They have said the chess soldiers are strong, at least Sanji can take down them. And it's revealed that Sanji saw everything in the pudding fight. We thought he didn't see when Pudding used her memory fruit, but turns out he did. So for now, the gang has a triumph card, although I have a very big feeling it's only a small one. Because afterwards, Jinbei tries to free uh, Luffy and Nami, and it turns out that the only way to free them is by burning the book, therefore also burning them. There goes the theory of Luffy having allies, because I actually thought for a moment that if Luffy, burned all these prison books, then he would technically have dozens of allies, which even the big mom pirates would have a trouble containing. I mean, granted, all these prisoners are definitely not on the league of the Yonko. At least that's what all of you are saying. But I'm just saying, when chaos hits an island, it's difficult for even the most powerful person to get it under control. It also seems like a mink was in that prison, because we see a wolf mink. What I meant to say is that when they are all released, all of these guys, well, they just fall down unconscious, and now they're gonna get caught again. So yeah, so much for that. And Nami says this feels like deja vu. So I wonder what kind of deja vu is that. I know she means something, but I don't know what. Either way, Nami's clothes are badly burned, so she somehow switches into a new clothes, which I think. I wonder, does she steal that from an unconscious body? Either way, Bienbei says to them that this is indeed Monteur's ability, and he reveals to them that he was serving on the Big Mom, and now that he has knocked out Charlotte Opera, which we see he has, well, everything is screwed. So this was the serious moment. And then, as they heard her reinforcements arrive, they also Luffy collapses in hunger. Of course he does. And you know what? I'm gonna say something like this. Luffy, as some may have seen, is not exactly on my top of favorite list. Not exactly very high, because sometimes I feel Luffy's idiocy is annoying more than fun. However, Luffy has three types of idiocy in my book. The non-funny one, which is actually almost like a quote from the English dub. How could he possibly not know that was going to happen? That kind of stupid. The other stupid is reckless stupid, which is the only stupid I actually like for him. Luffy has many times thrown himself in situations where it's actually you asking, why did he do that? That's so dumb, even for him. However, in the end, he has still won because his conviction is that strong. So I admire that. And then it's a little bit more overconfident, suicidal, stupid. The one where he technically charges first, asks questions never, which is a combination of the one and two. And this is what exactly happens here. Despite him being starving, he stands up, still has missing a tooth, remembers that Pudding's real personality. He immediately charges against the army. Despite being very hungry and got his ass handed to him by an army. I don't know what to say. Even for Luffy, that was stupid. But the thing is, what I'm also says is, in a bit, I admire that stupidity because there's a lot of people that have argued about how is this arc gonna end, me included. And I mean, how is this arc gonna end? That's my deepest fear about One Piece right now. Because how the arc is heading, it seems very likely that both the Big Mom Pirates and the Windsmoke Pirate family are gonna become Karma Houdinis. And if not two of them, at least one of them are not gonna be punished this arc. And given its, well, Big Mom Pirates, it's very likely that the Big Mom Pirates will get away from this scot-free, but the Windsmoke family won't. But I won't be satisfied if the Big Mom Pirates destroy the Windsmoke family. Sanji must destroy them. No matter how powerful they are, he must destroy them. This arc won't be satisfying if it does. But I have a feeling that will not happen. After all, because of the wolf effect. So Luffy decides to charge in to find Sanji, despite having an empty stomach, and because people actually begins to question that Luffy cannot stand a chance against a whole Yonko crew. Well, I actually think he can, if he had a full stomach. Back on the Ryuju thing, Sanji laments the fact that he has been become delusional. So in all, despite having his breakdown last time, which by the way was extremely heartbreaking and extremely what's that word? Unforgivable. When I mean unforgivable, it's Uda did something very unforgivable. He treated Sanji so bad the whole 2016. So the fact that Sanji felt like that was a delusional means that I think he is ready to move on. Then Riju reveals something surprising. She feels this is a good opportunity for Germa to be destroyed. And now finally she seems to fully tell her feelings. As we have long since suspected Riju. I mean, first we did not suspect Pudding, then we did not suspect her, then we suspected her, and then it turns out she was just a pure evil bitch. And then it was Riju. We thought she was evil, then she was kind, and then we should begin to wonder, is that really her personality? And now this seems to imply that yes, Riju is basically like Sanji. She has emotions. The only difference is she has modifications in her body that makes that she cannot disobey her father, and she's a successful failure, so to speak. And she begins to talk about how it comes to the fact that Sanji is not an emotionless machine. And now we end up with something that is, I find, is very strange. This is actually, we haven't seen this in a while, by the way. As I said before, these last couple of chapters have all been about the Big Mom Pirates and their unforgivableness. So that almost made us forget exactly how unforgivable the Windsmoke family is, and now we are getting a glimpse of that. Turns out that Sanji's mother, which by the way, we hear in this chapter is named Sora. So is that Windsmoke's Sora or just Sora? Oh, and yeah, do you remember that name? Sora? Isn't that Sora the hero of the Marines from that comic book that features the Windsmoke family? Is that a coincidence? I wonder. I don't think that's a coincidence, and I'm not talking about Uda style. I think this has something to do with the story. Maybe the comic book was created by someone who actually knew the real Sora as a way to punish the Windsmoke family, so to speak. Either way, here it turns out she was against turning her sons into emotionless machines, because Riju was born first, but Judge, being the arrogant guy he says is, he was fine for them becoming monsters because he needed them to win battles. So Riju had not Riju. Yeah. Sora had a forced operation upon her and then drank a medicine that unfortunately did not seem to work on her three children of Niji, Ichiji, and Yonji. Also, by the way, we seems to get a glimpse of Ichiji's red spark or powers. Seems to imply it's something to do with explosions. And then in the end, the one who really became like that was Sanji because of the medicine. So it's not just because Ichiji, Niji, and Yonji are emotionless bastards, or to the fact that they are just complete assholes. They are complete assholes because they were made that way. I had to say that is extremely tragic. What kind of father turns their children into emotionless machines? There's also someone who had a very big argument saying like how they should have emotions. I mean, they have rage and all that stuff. And the thing is, they're saying emotionless. They mean heartless, no empathy, sympathy. And also, I've said this before. Is it? I mean, Reiju hinted that she has modifications in her body that makes her unable to disobey her father. I wonder, do Ichini, Niji, and Jonji also has that? Because I'm seriously asking. There's no way someone who is that powerful and that unstable can be controlled. I'm just saying. Either way, the medicine unfortunately made Sora very weak, which Sanji became very sad about. However, Sora had no regrets for that. She was in fact very happy to the fact that Sanji was the only one who could feel emotions and became a good boy. And here's the strange part. The medicine, it's not weird that the medicine made Sora weaker, which eventually killed her, which, by the way, is very sad. What is strange is uh, it seems to this chapter seems to imply that Judge took his anger out on Sanji not just because he was a failure, but because he thought, he believed Sanji, no, not believed, he, what's that word? In his mind, he blamed Sanji for being the cause of Sora's death. Is that what this chapter is implying? Because if that's implying, that seems to imply that Judge really did love his wife? I don't think so. I mean, that's gotta be one of the most. If that's true, that's gotta be one of the most twisted loves I have ever seen. But then again, Judge is a very twisted person. Big Mom have shown quite some depth of depravity recently, but Judge, we cannot forgive that he's also a depraved character. So either way, Riju says that Sanji is not a failed product because for her and for their mother, Sanji is the being that became a human, the one who held emotions. He became the the only Vinsmoke child with emotions beside Riju. So in a way, Sanji is not a failure because he became human, and we know Sanji is strong. Either way, Luffy is running around, choking some bad guys. Even a guy I think once knocked him out, asking where is Sanji, despite his arm still bleeding. Elsewhere, we see Smoothie, who decides that they need to settle this without alerting Mama, Big Mom, because if they do, then the plans, which by the way, once again is hinting to have been one of Big Mom's plans for a very, very, very long time, is gonna go up in smoke. And what will happen? There was someone who made a theory about that if Big Mom is excited about the wedding cake, despite this being a fake wedding. And this also seems to further hint that if this plan fails, if Big Mom fail to get the Germa technology, what is going to happen? I have a very big feeling she is gonna destroy her own island in rage. So either way, Riju says that they need to Sanji need to escape because after all, even though Sanji is still uncertain about the Baratria, it turns out the judge never intended to keep his word. He is going to kill Seth if everything happens. But Sanji don't want to see Riju dies, but Riju just feels like she has blood on her hands, so she has to die. And she also says somehow that these bracelets that Sanji has is actually duds. She somehow switched them, which is also pretty strange. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm all for them being duds so Sanji can finally fight, but I'm also asking, so what's the point of them anyway? I mean, Big Mom was said to have the key, so this seems to hint that we won't have a confrontation with her after all. And if they really are duds, then that may explain why Reiju was quick to shut them off. It was in order to show that they were, I mean, to prevent, to show that they were duds. Either way, with the strong determination, wounded body, empty stomach, Luffy is trying to find Sanji and is marking down grunts one after another. I don't think he stands a chance against the ministers though. But Riju encourages Sanji to leave this. So how the hell will this arc end? I mean, for every single chapter in One Piece, we get even more uncertainty on how this arc is gonna end. It seems very likely that how it's gonna end is that Big Mom is not gonna have her cake. She's gonna throw a tantrum. That tantrum is gonna destroy half the island and maybe even all of her children. And then she's gonna kill all the Vinsmokes. All the while, Luffy and Co. is gonna take Sanji, the Poneglyph copies, and then leave. I have a feeling that's how this arc is gonna end. And I'm not gonna like it if that's how it's gonna end. Don't get me wrong, if Big Mom kills Pudding after then I think that will be karma. And if she kills the Vinsmokes, that will also be karma, but I would have preferred if Sanji did it. And if he took Germa as allies, but nah, that's not gonna happen. So yeah, this was a longer review than intended, but that's basically this chapter. So give me your thoughts. Do you have any?